Got a lot to talk about this morning. Wouldn't it be nice if kids came with an instruction manual? Well, we have the next best thing. Joining us this morning to shed light on 7 of the most best parenting practices is psychologist and mom herself, Amy Trout. Good morning.
Hi.
So we're going over 7 of the best practices, and you say these are research-based.
Right.
So these are some that we've talked about over the past few months, but you kind of narrowed them down for us.
Yep.
I love this. So we're going to break these down.
Okay, good.
Number 1, provided labeled praise.
Right. So you want to give attention to behavior that's good and less attention to behavior that's negative, unless it's dangerous behavior.
Okay.
Dangerous behavior always needs to be addressed. But if a kiddo is misbehaving in ways that are minor, you just kind of want to not focus on those as much and focus on what they do well. Focus on the good stuff.
So you really think praise works well?
I think praise is important. Praise shows your child that you're not only watching out for the negative. It's easy to respond to negative stuff. We forget when our kids are good, and they need to know that we see when they're good.
Yeah.
It's important.
All right, ignore minor misbehavior, so that's kind of the flip side of it.
Right. Little
Pick
things.
your battles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, if you have a teenager that storms off and slams the door, it's very easy to go after that teen, and what are you doing slamming your door? Is it really a big deal in the bigger scheme of things? Probably not. You can talk about it later, you know, but letting them kind of have that cool down time. I mean, in some homes that's going to look different, and that's fine, but really choosing ahead of time, what's the big deal? We can get very worked up in the moment with our kiddos because we're frustrated, and that's really not the way we want to operate with our kids. We want to operate out of a place of peace and calm as much as possible and be very purposeful in what we're doing with our kids. So a lot of stuff, it's better, again, unless it's dangerous, just let it go. We can talk about it later when people are calm.
All right. Next up, become a student of child development. So this is where maybe the parents need some lessons.
Yeah, so if we know what kids are going through just developmentally, like normal stuff, we can offer praise and support in those ways that we might not normally think about. So anyone that has a preteen or young teen in their home knows if you say we're getting out of the house at 10, it's going to be a miracle if you really get out of the house at 10, right? You may have to roll that back 15 or 20 or 30 minutes.
Because I struggle now. What am I going to do when I have teenagers?
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's really important, you know, they go through body image issues, and like what they look like really matters at that age. They are not quite fully developed in sort of being okay in their own skin. And so the face and the hair and the clothes really have to be like sort of on point, as the kids say. So giving them time and understanding how important that need is for them gives you a little bit extra grace in your heart towards your kids when they're really like pushing time limits and pushing. You can go, okay, they're really working hard to try to get out of here, but there's a huge need in them to be presentable in their own mind. And so it can help you.
All right. So kind of understand what they're going through kind of there.
Exactly.
All right. Do timeouts right along with quality time in. So
yeah, the quality time in is really, again, praising the stuff that's going well. Or when they come back from a timeout. Timeouts really shouldn't be used as like punishment. They can be used as discipline, which is different because discipline is changing behavior.
Kind of re-distracting them.
Yeah, changing, getting them to change. So if a child is diving off the couch onto a 2-year-old nephew, you know, 10-year-old diving onto a 2-year-old, and that's obviously a dangerous behavior, and you cue them verbally and it doesn't change, pull them aside. You have to do it immediate and brief. Pull them aside, say, I need you to sit down, I need you to chill out for a minute, I need you to get control, calm yourself down so that you can do the right thing. If they do that, if they're able to kind of regroup and come back into the activity and engage in a way that's not dangerous and disruptive, great, it's worked. You're not trying to say, no, 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 shame on you, you didn't listen, you didn't do what you're supposed to do, now you're in trouble.
Which I think a lot of parents do. I'm guilty of it as well.
That's what we were raised with timeouts, right? I mean, that's what our thoughts are. No, timeouts are really just to regroup and to get the kid back on track.
Okay. Focus on prevention of misbehavior, which I've learned a lot from you over the years, too. Find out maybe if they're hungry or if they're what's going on.
Holy cow. I mean, if you have a doctor's appointment at nap time and you have to tote along your toddler, it's going to be rough.
Good luck with that.
You already know it's going to be rough. Change the appointment, bring along a helper, you know, whatever you need to do, or brace yourself. It may go better than you think it's going to go, but prepare for the worst.
Okay. We only have a minute left. You say, so these are the last 2 which you really think are key. Take care of yourself first, which we hear this a lot, but what do you mean by that?
Okay, right. So social relationships, exercise, eating right, getting enough sleep, right? What's that? Those are super important. But beyond that, our emotional lives have to be in our awareness and in our working domain where we know, wow, this triggers me. this will push me over the edge, this frustrates me, and I'm working on that. Because if we can't stay calm with our kiddos, when we lose it, we aren't doing what we want to do for them. And we're teaching them how to parent, right? But often we're bringing in our own broken parenting from our own parent histories. And so if we haven't dealt with that, if we haven't looked at that up close, you know, there could be shoes on the floor. You walk in the front door and you stumble over them and you go, really, that kid, I've cued him 100 times. I can't believe how lazy he is. Johnny, get out here and get your shoes. Or we can go, that kid, he's a mess. And you chuck him down the hall towards his closet, right? We have differences in how we approach things based on our own attitudes.
And kids soak that up, which we've talked about, you know, a lot about emotion. They know what's going on, whether they really understand it or not.
We can justify it 100 times, but at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to make sure that our backyard is clean. So we have to work on cleaning it constantly.
Yeah. All right, last one. Take time and do nothing.
Yeah, like put the phone down. This is so hard. Experts say each kid needs an hour a week of undivided attention. Now, I think that's grossly understated. I think they need time every day, even if it's only 10 minutes. It may feel a little invasive in your older kids' world, so you have to find ways to join that are not invasive. But really, we shouldn't be cooking dinner and trying to get that quality time. And
is it letting your kids know they're important? Like, listen, you were getting my undivided attention. That matters.
It's so easy to just respond to the bad stuff because we're stressed and pulled. But we have to be intentional. These kiddos need us. They need us to speak good things into them, and they need us to join them and show them, right, that they matter.
And sometimes they just need us to be there, right? It goes a long way.
Exactly.
So
it's
10
important.
minutes a day, an hour a week, minimum.
Minimum.
That should be the goal,
with
maybe.
Nothing else going on. And not a time to like teach or correct or reproof, but a time to just join and enjoy Legos or Play-Doh or whatever it is.
I love it. All right, Amy, we love when you're here. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you back.
Thank
I hope
you.
that helped today's parenting guide. I learned a lot. Listen.